asked a few times about the various weapon bars that Tombstone has and why I've made the ones I've made, which opponents I use which weapons for. So this is going to be kind of a breakdown of some of that. So there's a couple of different ways that I routinely make weapon bars. So these ones here were made from air plate. These have been water jet cut to shape. This is a economical way of making a good weapon bar because I just basically CAD what I want, send the file to Waiachi, and I get a weapon bar back. So this is easy. There's a little more machining involved with these. So this is a less dense material for the bar than with a higher density material, steel out on the end for the teeth. This is the king of energy. So if I want highest energy totals, this one hits the hardest out of all of them because all the weight is out on the end. It's got the highest moment of inertia. These ones here are made out of S7. So this is the hardest material that I routinely use. And so for some opponents, this is the right choice as well. So let's kind of go over which opponents you would use which ones for. Start back with the AR weapon bars. All right, so these ones were cut out of Air 500, okay? So I have it machined for the mount, water jet cut for here. That's the only machining I do when I get them back. So I usually try to put a little angle, little bevel edge on so it can kind of dig in. The upside to using these ones is they are incredibly tough, okay? You'll never snap one of these. It's just not something that's going to happen. It can mush. You can get damage to them. They're not necessarily as hard as some of the other materials. And so there's some robots that they won't dig in well for. So like this isn't a good choice for a robot with a very tough wedge, okay? Because this material won't dig in. It'll kind of mush in place and it won't dig in and deliver the energy. It'll glance off, which I don't want. So where I would use these for is like drums and big vertical hits, because when they hit it, they're not going to snap the weapon bar. They're going to throw me around, but they're not going to. The weapon bar itself isn't going to fail. And in fact, this one here was the weapon bar that I used in the match against Hypershock, which is one of the biggest uppercut hits in the game right now. And there was certainly some damage and some marks from it. If this had been an S7 bar in that match, it would have snapped probably on that first or second hit. So as far as toughness goes, these are really good. These are also sort of a jack of all trades. They're okay against everybody. Maybe not the best choice for certain opponents, but there's no bad spot to use these. They tend to work fairly well as long as I don't need to worry about a higher hardness on the end. If you move to the ones where you have a tooth installed into the edge, as I said, this is, if you want to deliver the absolute most energy you can, this is it, hands down. Okay. So the whole game is trying to put out big hits. Why wouldn't I do this all the time? Well, a good example is this one here. This is the bar that was in the match against Captain Shredderator, and I ended up losing a tooth, okay? And when that tooth snapped out, then of course the weapon bar is out of balance and the robot shakes itself to death, literally. So there's a risk involved in using this style of weapon bar. But this does deliver the biggest hit, okay? So if that's what I think I need to have in order to win the match, then this is a viable choice. The other thing is, of the weapon bars that I've made, this one has the largest spin circle. So the distance from tip to tip is longer on this than it does on any of the weapon bars. So this is sometimes you simply just need the reach. You need to be able to reach out a little further to touch the other guy. So there's plenty of, even though you can have a nasty failure mode, there's plenty of spots where this is still the right choice. And I'll continue to run this style of weapon bar going forward. The last ones that I usually use are made out of tool steel, in this case S7. Okay. S7's claim to fame is that I can harden it harder than the other material. And so this is one that's great for digging in to hardened wedges and armor. Okay. The downside is it can fail spectacularly. So the weapon bars that snapped against Bite Force and Witch Doctor were both made out of S7. So the failure mode of this material is a little more fatal when you have an issue. The upside, of course, is that it literally does dig into armor. And in fact, the one that's on the robot right now is the one that was on it when I won the championship. So, you know, it is a legitimate champion piece, but you know, they can fail. So, against different opponents, I've got different choices. And interestingly, this is about the only time we ever have any disagreements in the pits on the team is which weapon bar we're going to use for any particular fight, because we'll all have kind of an opinion. Well, you should use this one. No, you should use this one. We'll have to discuss it to figure out what we're going to do. All of this sort of stuff is what I will continue to use going forward. I'll still have some S7 weapon bars and probably using less of those these days just because of the way they can fail. I'll still run weapon bars with teeth. This one here is basically undamaged. It's only got 1 or 2 fights on it, so this one will stick around for a while. The AR weapon bars are easier on me. Literally, I can just send a file off and a weapon bar shows up. So this one actually is easier in that regard. And they're not, comparatively, they're not that expensive. So I'll probably do more of these going forward because, you know, I can just order several of them, and when they start getting a little mush, just pull one off and put a new one on. So they're all options that I will continue to use, and hopefully take Tombstone to the finals and get another giant nut.